Hey everybody! So today we're going to talk about the sign of Cancer. And this is specifically Cancer energy. I am not talking about just Cancer sun sign people. I'm talking about Cancer energy in general. This could be any planet falling in Cancer. This could be the house that has Cancer on the cusp. Just Cancer energy in general. How Cancer energy wants to express itself, has an urge to express itself, needs to express itself. Doesn't always mean that it happens, like with anything, but this is generally what it needs. These things, and some of them or all of them may show up in your chart or a chart that you're weaving. It just really depends on the chart. So how does Cancer energy want to express itself? Well, this energy is, so this energy is very, very, very sensitive and very, very, very vulnerable. It just is. And it's very, very deeply conscious energy too, right? Because Cancer has an affinity for the fourth house. Same as the moon. It has an affinity for the fourth house. You don't have to think of them as natural rulers, but they do have an affinity for the fourth house. Fourth house is like the deepest part of your conscious core. Cancer energy tends to express itself that way. So Cancer energy is aware of this deep sensitivity and this deep vulnerability. Even if you have Cancer on like the 12th house cusp or in the 8th house cusp, the person probably is aware of the vulnerability and the sensitivity concerning the areas of life in those houses. To at least a certain extent, they are aware. So this energy is very, very, very aware of that. So because of that, I tend to find Cancer energy kind of manifests in one of two ways. Of course, this isn't universal, and of course it can manifest in a lot of other ways too, somewhere in between all this, but I do find that this energy either openly expresses this deep sensitivity and this deep vulnerability, or this energy puts a fucking wall up so that they don't have to, because they are so aware of this sensitivity and vulnerability. Of course, this depends on the whole chart as to how this might show up. But let's say, I don't know, let's say you had Cancer on, let's say your ascendant was in Cancer. You might find somebody who knows that they naturally come at the world in a very sensitive and vulnerable way. And they might embrace that, or they might throw a fucking wall up. And it really just depends on, the whole chart as to how that actually plays out. But this energy does tend to do that. It will throw walls up. If for some reason it's not comfortable feeling as sensitive or vulnerable as it wants to. And this also, obviously would play into where the moon falls in the chart as to how something like that would actually play out, how comfortable the person might be with this sensitivity or this vulnerability. So there's that. The moon Cancer is ruled by the moon. That's what I meant to say. And so because of that, the moon moves very, very quick in the sky. And because of the quickness there, Cancer and the moon are both pretty emotional, and they're both pretty changeable and moody. There is a moodiness to this sign energy. There is a moodiness to the way this sign will express the energy. It just depends on what else is going on in the chart, but there definitely is a changeability, definitely is a moodiness. This almost always tends to be the case. Yeah. it tends to be, I won't say universal, I guess, but I do see it the case more often than not. This sign energy, is pretty, it's nurturing. You know, this sign energy does want to express itself in a nurturing way. It does want to express itself in a caring way. It does, you know, all of, in a mothering way, in a mothering way too. Cancer energy does want to express itself in all of these ways. But you got to keep in mind the moon does rule Cancer, and there is a moodiness to both. So there may be a lack of consistency in the way this nurturing is provided to both, and depending on what house, you know, Cancer, you know, is on the cusp of in the chart, and any planets falling there and all of that will kind of give you an idea of how, but there might be a moodiness in or changeability in how the nurturing and the mothering and the caring and all of these things are given. This could be to the person, to the chart holder themselves, how they nurture, care, and mother themselves. There might be a changeability. This could be with other people. There may not be a whole lot of stability or consistency in this. Now, Cancer energy does strive for security, right? It does strive for security. It really does. It also strives for protection. So what I see happen with this energy is because there can be a lack of consistency, right? And a changeability in it. There can be a changeability and a moodiness. And because it's striving for security and for protection, sometimes I don't think this energy realizes that it might kind of shoot itself in the foot in terms of how to find that security and that protection. This is not universal, but I do see it happen, and I see it's not something that gets talked about very often. I don't see it talked about very often. You know, I see things talked about like, oh, nurturing and mothering, and yeah, all of these things are true. These are Cancer. These are the way that Cancer wants to express itself. But it has I find that this energy actually has a hard time doing that in any kind of stable way. So say, I don't know, let's say you've got Cancer on, and this is just a for instance, this is not universal, but if you have Cancer on, say, I don't know, the 7th house cusp, there might be a lack of consistency in the way that you mother or nurture your close relationships. Not universal, but you could find that does happen. So yeah, I do think that does need to be mentioned, and again, it's just how this energy is kind of geared, because it is so changeable. Then there's also the notion of abandonment that comes in here. Cancer energy is it does strive for protection, right? At the highest vibration, it protects both itself and other people. But sometimes there can be, with abandonment, I found Cancer energy can have a real fear of abandonment. There can be a real fear of abandonment here. So with that said, sometimes Cancer energy will do the abandoning first so that they don't get abandoned. It's another sort of wall that ends up put up. This is something else that I have noticed about the way that this energy might function. And again, I want to make it clear, I'm not ragging on Cancer sun sign people. I am not ragging on Cancer energy. I'm really not. But these are things that I don't feel like get brought up very often with this particular energy, and I feel like they should be. It should maybe come up more, because I know that Cancer energy wants to nurture and wants to care and wants to, protect themselves and others, but sometimes it doesn't always manifest that way. So, but yeah, of course, all of this depends on everything going on in the chart. So anyway, so if you are watching this on Instagram, you can find us on YouTube at Let's Fuck with Astrology, just searching that in the search bar. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can follow us on Instagram. We're at Let's Fuck with Astrology. I am at Saturn Season Astrology on Instagram. Natalie is at Abaturno Astrology on Instagram. If you do the Reddit thing, you can find us on the subreddit Let's Fuck with Astrology. And if you're interested in the star cards, you can go to letsfuckwithastrology.com/star-cards. Okay, y'all. I'll see y'all later.